Hi, everybody. It's Linda G here in rainy North Carolina. North Carolina, North California. And this is Laura Quirke I'm introducing you guys to. Did I pronounce your last name right?
You did, yes.
Okay. And she's a healer. I accidentally said I was having a reader. She's a healer. The reader I'm having on is going to be in March. So, hi, Laura.
Hi, thank you so much for having me
Oh,
on
you're so
your show.
welcome. She's a transformational healer and coach. Her divine gift is being able to channel very high vibrational energy that enables her clients to experience miraculous healing and transformation on all levels physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Each session is powerful, yet very gentle, and the results are often immediate. Even people who have struggled from childhood trauma and life threatening diseases have been healed in a single session. Ooh. Although a series of sessions is even more effective. Laura specializes in helping people naturally heal physical and emotional pain, trauma, and chronic disease, such as cancer, injuries, improve athletic performances, manifest miracles and abundance, communicate with loved ones who have passed, and so much more. Please visit Laura's website, lightconnectors.com, for more information, testimonials, and to schedule a session. And I'll post this on the bottom of this, but she has discounted sessions for Linda G's audience, um, a discounted price. So yeah, we'll put that in there, girlfriend.
Thank you.
So your gift, and it says the energy tools to direct the energy, holding the space, individual, group, and remote sessions. When did you know that you had this?
I was very young when I knew something I had. I was like 8 years old, but I didn't know what it was or what to do with it. My dad passed away in a car accident at 8, and I wanted so badly to connect to him. And so I had my girlfriends my age. We tried to connect, and when I would do that, when I hold the energy. One of them was psychic, and she was able to communicate with my dad. And so I
Wow.
would be able to talk to him through her. I didn't realize, as I hold the space, that that's what would happen with people. It wasn't until many years later that I discovered that this is part of my gift. Um, and so we would play with that. And then, I would say to my mom, there's this energy coming out of my hands. I don't know what it is. And she's like, she just kind of poo-poo it. All she knew about was ESP, but nothing else. Like,
Right.
and so I would just play with it and experiment with it, put my hands on things, and I could feel the heat coming out of them. My hands wouldn't get hot, but I could feel things happening. And, over the years, I would work on other people, and I had to just learn what this was and how to use it. And, I ended up going into engineering, which is totally different than healing stuff. And I was VP of engineering, actually, and did that for 20 years. But I always had this passion of this energy. And I was also an athlete, so I would use it in my own athletics. I had a scholarship, University of Connecticut for running, and I could visualize what I wanted to happen in the race. And then actually it would be exactly the way I saw it,
Wow,
right?
I love it. Yeah.
So yeah, so I would teach my teammates things on how to use it, but I was just playing at that time, right? And but I had such a passion for helping people. And even in high tech, like I would be running these meetings and I could feel the tension in the room because I was working at startup companies. I was at Palm Computing. I was a technical lead on the first Palm Pilot, actually, for those that remember that. But I could just, with even while I'm talking, channel the energy and watch the whole room calm down. And so it was fun for me. People would come into my office with their issues, and they would be talking about what's wrong, and then I would just be listening as I channel the energy. And they're like, I feel so much better. I don't know why.
That's
So
great.
for me, that was playing. And then I really started working on other people and created a business from it in 2001. And I've been doing it since then, and it's always evolving. Um, I'm I discovered my gifts along the way and how it works. And I used to teach classes because people wanted me to teach them how I do it. And I thought it was the tools that I created that was creating the miracles that I was seeing. but it was really the energy that I was channeling, and then the tools were just giving the energy instructions
Ah,
on what to do, right? And so I'm teaching them how to do it. I'm saying, okay, you just do this and you say this and da, da. And then if I was standing there, it would work, but if I'd walk away, it wouldn't work. Like, oh, what is that? And then I realized, okay, it's all about the energy. So I don't actually know where it's coming from. I call it divine love source energy. It's part of my gift, but it's this miraculous energy that basically you're just giving instructions like to heal these emotions, these traumas, these fears, or heal the physical body, or heal this organ, this, whatever it is. So that's all it is. It's very simple. And so I just allow myself to be that conduit of this pure source energy, get my own stuff out of the way, right? So that's
exactly.
important because your own stuff is the filters, right? It's your own biases, your own desires, your own beliefs, your own stuff. And that energy comes through the same thing when you're reading, right? So the energy passes through your filters and you're interpreting it, and then it's coming out the way it comes out, right?
Yeah,
But if you
yeah.
allow yourself to be this pure conduit and not change the energy, then it can do really incredible things.
That's
So,
wonderful. That's wonderful. So, how many
yeah.
years have you been doing actual
So since
session?
2001, I started working on other people and charging for it, and so 25 years doing that. But I mean, as I said, I've been doing it since I was a kid, just learning about it and doing it for my friends and family and teaching them what I'm learning. And so it's always been a part of who I am. But being in the world of engineering, this is very different. So it's
My
not something
son
I would
is
talk about in that.
my son is in school now because he works for the water district, and they said they would assist him in becoming an engineer. He's actually a land surveyor, but he's going to school to become an engineer.
Yeah.
So, but he doesn't believe in any of this. So,
Yeah, and so,
bah humbug.
it's funny because I like working with people who don't
Me
have any
too. Me too.
idea,
I
right?
like the ones.
Because
Yeah.
it opens up so much for them. Like, somebody's in pain and I could say, well, I can help you with that. And they're like, yeah, right. Okay. And then the pain's gone. They're like, okay, what is it that you do?
Yeah.
So,
So you have on here, which I thank you. She gave me her, basically your CV. Healing concepts, power of the heart.
yeah, so basically, I like to teach people about healing concepts so they understand some of the processes, right? So the heart is where you have the answers to everything, right? And so your head is a great computer. It's great at analyzing things, figuring things out, but it's also where your ego lies. And so you're not necessarily going to get the highest truth. So when we do this kind of work, we go into our heart. Our heart is connected to everything and it can access any information that we need, right? And so it's important to know the difference between the two. So oftentimes, people have their head manage their situation, whatever they're going on, and the heart just kind of follows along. We want to reverse that. We want to have the heart be in charge. And then the heart says, "Hey, okay, head, go figure that out, analyze that, and come back and report to me." And then we move forward. So if we learn to trust the heart, that's really, really important. So I like to teach people how powerful that heart is. The heart is also where the intuition lies, right? And so we all have different forms of intuition. So, four main ways, obviously, is, being able to see things with your third eye,
Yes.
to hear messages, to feel inside your body what's going on with somebody else,
Yes.
or just a knowingness, right? And
Yeah.
so we have a combination of those things. And then there's other ones too about taste and smell and all that, but those are the four main ones. And so for me, I just have this knowingness. I don't have your gift of being able to see and hear and all that kind of stuff. I've been told by you and others that that was turned off so that I could do this work even more effectively because I'd be distracted by the
Yes.
stuff that I was seeing, right? So
Right.
I have to trust that. But it's really cool for my clients to see because when I channel the energy, part of my gift is that it opens up their intuition even more.
There you
And
go.
so they're getting the information. And so I'm just channeling energy and they're seeing, even if they're never seen with the third eye, they're seeing things, they're hearing messages, they're feeling things. They're like, oh my gosh, like it's just incredible. I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. But I have to be grateful for the gift I get to share with people.
Right.
Um, so, so when I just hold that space for them sometimes, you know, I usually do that later on and when I'm working with people for a while because it seems less important than healing their body and all that kind of stuff. But there's one guy I was working with and very well-known guy in the business world and successful, but he had heard about me, wanted help with some trauma. So I was working with him on that. And I didn't mention that, sometimes when I hold this space, you might be able to like talk to loved ones and stuff. And all of a sudden, like he was not real vulnerable. Like we were working through his stuff, and then all of a sudden he started crying. He's like, "Oh my God, my grandmother's here." And she's like, "She helped raise me. I just loved her." Da, da, da. And he's going, and then my dad's here too. And then he's just totally lighting up. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I didn't mention that." Because I didn't want to turn him off, like, from what I
That
do.
he would see
So
his loved ones. Yeah,
yeah, so
that's
sometimes
tremendous.
that just comes through, even if I don't purposely hold the space for people to invite them through. Um, so anyway, so that's I was talking about the power of heart and I kind of get distracted a little bit. So I like to talk about energies and vibrations, right?
Yeah.
And so as I said, it's all about the energy in the work that I do. So everything in the universe has a vibration. Um, every solid object, everything does. And for people, your vibration is a combination of what I refer to as the elements, and that's your thoughts, beliefs, traumas, fears, emotions, stories, illusions, patterns, all that stuff is a combination of your energy field, right? And you bring into your life experiences and people that match that energy field, right? So if you have the energy being a victim, you're going to attract into your life perpetrators, right?
Right.
Because that's the energy that you carry. So when somebody comes in for healing, they think they're coming in to heal their back or their knee or whatever pain they have. What I believe is really important is that we heal the whole person. We heal all the stuff underneath the pain, which includes the emotional stuff and the fears and the traumas, and their whole life changes. So it's
That's
not just,
beautiful.
yeah. So because their energy field changes, right? And so they attract different things into their life. And then once you get into a really high vibrational state where you're not affected by the negative things as much. Like you can be there, you can see it, but your energy is not brought down, right? And
Right.
that's when it's really powerful. When you can hold that high energy, you can shift everything around you too. So it's
Wow,
really, really
that's great.
powerful. So
Yeah.
you cannot call yourself a healer and just hold a high vibration, and everybody you come in contact with will benefit from being in your presence. So it's very powerful stuff.
That's great.
So that's about energy and vibrations. The other thing I like to talk about is your belief system. So beliefs alone will not create a healing, but they can block a healing, right? And so whatever you believe to be true is actually true for you. Whether it's actually true or not, if you believe it to be true, it's true. And these beliefs can be conscious or unconscious. And we have so many different beliefs that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy,
Oh, I know that one.
yeah, all that stuff. And actually then you experience things to prove that. And then that belief becomes stronger, right? So if you have a belief, for example, it's not possible to heal instantly, you may block it, right? And so I help you release any beliefs that are not of the highest truth so that you can receive the healing, that
Right.
you'll allow the healing to take place. It's not like you have to totally believe like this is going to work, but you have to be open enough to see what happens, right?
Right.
So that's enough of an opening to receive the healing. The other thing that I like to talk about is like the ego box that we have and manifesting. So we have a box of beliefs that surround us, right? And we can only create within that box. So if you want to create something outside that box, but your beliefs are limiting you to be
That's
within
the
the
truth.
box,
That's the
yeah,
truth.
yeah, so you can only create within that. And so I help people remove those things so that they can create from a larger menu of choices. right? And then they can start manifesting what they do want in their life. So it kind of works in a series of things. So I work on, all that stuff underneath it. Like, when they come in with a physical problem, whether it's a chronic disease, an injury, or whatever, we work on all the stuff underneath it, being the beliefs and the fears and the traumas and all that. And then we raise the vibration, get that really high. Then we start helping them create what they do want in their life, right? And so removing the things that are preventing that, the blocks that they have and all that kind of stuff, and then helping them open their own gifts, right? So they can start doing things. So it evolves into like create change in their whole life, which is just so
You must
fun
be
and
so
rewarding.
satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So the other thing I talk about is just fears and how they work. So basically, your thoughts create your beliefs, and your beliefs create your reality. When you have an emotion behind a thought or a belief, you actually bring it into your life really quickly. So fear is a strong emotion, what you don't want, but you actually bring it into your life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's conscious or unconscious. So we may have a fear of failure, a fear of success, a fear of the unknown, a fear of change, a fear of being hurt. And all these things are running our lives, even though you're not conscious of it.
Yeah.
So by allowing the healing to take place, I can use the energy to heal those fears and everything related to those fears. So the beliefs that got created from the fear. So if you had a certain experience that happened,
Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no problem. You had a certain experience that happened, which created fear, which created emotion, created all this stuff. So we work on clearing all that stuff. And by the way, when we have all these fears and these traumas, they basically contribute to physical manifestation of challenges, right? So it's important not to just heal the physical issue, but to heal those things that contributed to it in the first place.
Right.
Right. Okay, so that's fears. So trauma is what happens when something traumatic happens in your life,
A lot of
whatever's
people
going
have
on,
that.
yeah, whatever's going on at that moment gets locked in the body. So it can be emotional, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual trauma. So it just like whatever fear, emotions, it gets trapped in the body. And you're not even aware of it. Years later, like you get these triggers, like somebody will say something, and it'll come up as an issue for you. You don't even know why it's affecting you, but it's just this trauma that was locked in your body. And so healing the traumas helps release all that. And when we have like trapped emotions stuck in our body, it's causing all kinds of pain and fatigue and anxiety and all this. And so when we can release all that, so you're releasing it from the heart, releasing it from the mind, and releasing it from the body, your body can heal.
That's
Okay.
great. That's true.
Um, And then sometimes we have blocks, right? So when we get too overwhelmed with things, we just can't handle anymore. We're just like, okay, I'm just blocking that off. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to think about it. I just pretend it's not there. The problem is all that stuff underneath the blocks that you blocked off is still affecting your life, right?
Right.
So just because you're not consciously aware of it anymore, it's part of your energy field. It's still creating
Exactly.
problems, right? And so what I do is help heal the stuff underneath the blocks so we can remove the blocks, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So anyway, so that's some of the concepts of the healing and how I approach it.
Now, listen, someone like me who was raised in trauma most of my childhood, of fear
Hmm.
based.
Hmm.
Does that take a while to exit?
Actually, the way I do it is very quick. And so, you know, I, I I bring you into a meditative state, right? So I guide you into your heart, expand out your consciousness and all that. And then we ask your heart, which knows the truth of everything, to bring into consciousness all the fears that are affecting you, for
Right.
example, or all the traumas. And then you're just watching it come in as a stream of stuff. So we can heal a million things as quickly as we can heal one thing,
Yeah.
right? So I used to do one thing at a time. Unforgiveness for this person and that person, and we'd spend the whole session just on forgiveness, right? So I'm like, okay, there's got to be a faster way. So that's the engineer part of me. I was like, okay, this works, but how can I make it faster? So it's evolved into what it is today. And so we just use the heart, which knows that truth. So we ask the heart to bring into consciousness all the elements related to fear that are affecting you. and you're just watching it come in. Now, I ask you not to grab a hold of it, right? To go down a rabbit hole with that particular issue that's coming in so that we can heal all these things. So you just watch it come in, and then you surrender it. And so it's free will, right? I can't force a healing on anybody. But with your permission, I can use the energy to transform it. And so you bring it into consciousness, and then you just surrender it. Sometimes you'll know exactly what it is, and sometimes it'll just feel like an energy, but that's enough to shift it. It does, we don't have to go into the gory detail about that trauma, and you don't have to relive it either. Right. And so you're just bringing all of that stuff in. So the traumas hold with it the emotions and the pain and the sadness and all that. So all that stuff is coming through, and then you surrender it. And I'm channeling the energy as you're doing that. And the instructions that we give to the energy is transform and heal all the things coming through. So if the beliefs we transfer a belief, we transform it into a belief that's for the highest, that's of the highest truth, for your highest and best good. If it's a fear, then we, heal the fear. And this is all done automatically. There's nothing that the person has to worry about, but I like people to understand what they're agreeing to. Is when I do the healing, right, the instructions we give to the energy is to heal it from the origin of where it was first created up into the present time, and then everything in between. So it could be from a past life that you brought in, right? It could be from the family line, right? So it could be passed down from your great great grandfather. He felt like he wasn't good enough, and this got passed down and stored on your DNA, and it's affecting your life, right?
I know, like I notice even families, depression can run in the family.
Yeah, yeah.
Alcoholism can run in the family.
Yes, absolutely. And so what we do is we heal it from the origin, and it's energetically offered up to the other person in the family line or whoever it was that's also affected by it. It's up to their higher self to accept it or not. So oftentimes family members receive a healing during an individual session, but it's up to them to accept it. And then all the way, everybody that was affected in between, and then up to the current person that we're working on. And so it's very quick, very powerful, but that's what's happening. So I take that belief, I take all those things that are coming in, and that's the instructions to the energy. So I'm just allowing it to pass through, and then all this healing takes place. So it's very powerful. And then, like even people, like, let's say that they were abused as a child, right? Sexually abused. And maybe they've never told anybody about it. It was just such an embarrassment. And they're holding this guilt and shame. And guilt and shame is one of the lowest vibrations you can hold, and affects you so much, right? It's even lower than like anger and stuff. So there's a, whole vibrational scale. So the higher vibrational is love and bliss and joy and gratitude and all that. And then you have your lower ones, and then a whole bunch of stuff in between. So we're trying to heal the lower vibrational stuff and raise your vibration higher and higher and higher and higher all the time. And that actually allows you to be a better healer yourself too. Because when you channel this energy, you have to be able to hold a very high vibration for it to be able to pass through you. So there's so many benefits to raising that vibration, right? And so anyway, so we channel, and so it can be so quick. So like I started to say is like, so somebody who was abused, this happens often. I'm like, okay, I don't need to hear the whole story. I understand what it means when you're abused. Let's heal that. So we bring all the stuff in that was affecting them from that incident. And then I just channel the energy and we heal it. And then I'm like, how do you feel now? And here they were crying, telling me the story before, like very emotional. And all of a sudden, yeah, it was an experience I had, and it helped me grow from it. And now I am it's like they have a whole different perspective on it. And then it's healed. So when you can think of something traumatic that happened to you, and normally you'd get triggered, when you feel at peace and you can see the higher purpose of it, then it's been healed. Like I've heard you say often, like, cancer was really hard, but it's the best thing that ever happened
Best
to you.
thing that ever happened to me.
And that's often what people say. It's like at the time they think it's the worst thing that ever happened to them. But, the most important thing for all of us is that our soul evolve. We become more and more enlightened. And if you're on a path and you're busy doing your stuff and you're not paying attention to anything else, sometimes we need a wake-up call. Sometimes we need things like that to step back, like, oh, okay, okay. Or we're being directed onto another path. So there's all kinds of reasons that things happen. Sometimes, even if it seems bad, it's not so bad. It's just to redirect us.
Right,
Right?
right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So, the healing results that you've had?
I've had so many, but yeah, I like to give people an idea of what's possible, right?
Okay,
And so I'll just give you a few of these. I think the most common thing that everybody says is they feel at such peace after the session,
that helps.
like just
Even with a
this
psychic
light.
reading that I've done, people say they feel at peace.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The difference between you and I is you channel information and I'm channeling energy, but
That's true.
it's almost the same thing. So you're
Almost the same
bringing
thing.
pieces.
Yeah,
So it's like we're trusting that divine wisdom to come through us to help other people. And you're holding that same intention. It's like your intention is to help people, right?
yeah,
And that's what's coming through. That's what you're allowing to come through.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Um, so anyway, so one of the most important things is like they just feel this lightness, this peace, like these things that were causing anxiety or whatever, just gone. And um, so that's not like a direct pain or anything, but it's just like a pretty general feeling at the end of a session. Anxiety and panic attacks seem to be so common with people. Like, they don't come in often for just that. They'll come in what draws people in is like a pain in their body or like trauma that they just haven't been able to deal with or chronic disease is like another one that's really common. But often underneath it, there's a lot of anxiety and panic stuff that kind of led to it.
Both
Many
my
things lead
daughter
to
and
different
my son
issues.
had total, and myself, panic attacks out of
Yeah.
the blue for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, there get many things that contribute to it. It's like all those elements I spoke about, but you can even have entities attached to you, right? That can
Yes, I
also
believe
contribute
that
to.
totally.
Often, like, somebody will come in, they're so excited for a session, and then, well, the session's going to start that day, and then all of a sudden they feel panicked. I'm like, oh, they got entities, right? It's like they don't want the session because I'll get rid of them. So
Yeah,
they're just
yeah.
like causes panic. So anyway, so that's panic attacks, but it's just actually more common than you realize that people have a lot of anxiety. And so we want to heal that so that they can be in the presence of the chaos that we're living in, and but then be able to change it by holding their presence there. Right. So that's when you can make a difference in the world. So you feel like who am I to be able to do anything? But when you hold that presence and you direct the love and the attention to some of the darkness, you can actually change it.
That's
So
great.
it's very powerful. So anyway, so as I mentioned, I remove different. So sometimes we hold on to energies that don't even belong to us. We think we're helping other people by holding on to their pain, but actually you're just feeling their pain. You're not really helping them. And so I help people heal that and give it back to the rightful owner in that healed and resolved state and then remove it from their body and field. And so some of the pain they're feeling is not really belong to them. So we get rid of it that way. Sometimes we have attachments, like you have cords connected to other people or entities in our field or in our body. Removing all that stuff often eliminates a lot of their stuff. So
Right.
again, it's not even them, it's just those attachments. And I also empower people to know that I don't want to create fear in anybody, but when there's an entity involved, at some level, you allowed it to happen, right? Maybe unconscious. And you have the power to say, you don't have permission to be here. And it's universal law that they can't stay, right?
You
So,
fill yourself with that light and they can't take the light.
yeah, exactly, because it's a different vibration. That
Right.
light is not, they want to stay connected to you because they can live through you, right? But the light is too strong,
Too
right? And
strong.
so holding that light is also a way to that can affect you. So when you're in an altered state, sometimes it's easier for them to come in, but we just get rid of it. You don't have permission to stay, or we send it to God's light. Okay, so that's one thing. So arthritis is another one that I've had some really good success with. Um, I'll tell you a couple stories. So I was working on one person, a bunch of different things, and she just mentioned that she has pain throughout her body all the time, and that is arthritis. She had breast cancer 10 years ago, and so she gets a yearly scan, and so they could see the arthritis in her body. I'm like, oh, I can help you with that. And so I did a healing on it, and she's like, oh my God, like my hands, my feet don't hurt. It's all gone. And
That's
she went
great.
back to get her yearly scan, and then there was no more signs of arthritis on it
Oh, that's
on the scan.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then another one I was working with, and I'd been working with for on and off for a couple of years with different things. And she just mentioned in passing that she has arthritis in her right hand and she's not able to open and close it. And then the reason she brought it up is because the other hand was starting to get it. So she went to the doctor and physical therapist, and they said, well, you can do 6 months of therapy. 3 times a week, and you might get some movement in that left hand, but the right hand will never come back. It's been 20 years like that. I'm like, okay, well, we can try do some healing on, see what happens. And after we did that, I had 5 minutes left in the session, so I just started working on it. She could open and close both hands, no problem.
That's
So
great.
it's crazy. So
Great.
it doesn't always happen like that, but this is a person that I've worked on for a while with worked on all the underlying stuff, right? And so then she was able to receive the healing on that.
That's great.
Um, so then let's see, heart issues. I've had, I want to preface that it's not always 100% immediately all the time, right? Sometimes I get instant healings. Sometimes it takes a few sessions because there's more stuff underneath that are related to it that need to be healed. And sometimes it's just meant to be in their life for a reason, right? So I can't say guarantee 100% every single time it's instantly going to go away. But I've had some really good results. And so I had one guy I worked on, he had heart problems and he was supposed to have a stent put in and some surgery. It was scheduled for a week later. I'm like, oh, let me do some healing on it for you. And he went for his surgery. They opened him up and they couldn't find the problem. So they had to close him back up again.
That's
I know.
great.
Um, yeah. And so then I had another one who had a heart failure condition. And they ended up in the ICU. And then their body starts shutting down. Their kidney failure down to 10% function. And so I worked on them. And then the next day, after being in the ICU for 8 days, the next day they were going to put them on dialysis, and their kidney function came back. And then they ended up being okay, and they stayed in the hospital for rehab and all that kind of stuff. But then they were like going, and the doctor said, not too many people survive this.
That's
So,
great.
so it's just, just so many different things. Eyes are a big one too. I'm 64 years old and I don't use glasses for near or far. Um, and I help people heal with their eyesight too. So, but there's lots involved with the eyes, right? So there's a lot of emotional stuff that affect the eyes, as well as the physical stuff, the physical health and the vision and the clarity and all that. And so sometimes I'll be working with somebody on just their stuff, not specifically on their physical eyes, and then their eyesight improves. And
Wow.
other times I'll work directly on their eyes and they get even more improvement. I had one client that she wore glasses for near and far and now does not wear glasses anymore. So
That's
it's
amazing.
yeah. So it's just so fun to see. There is no limit to how we can help people, right? And so cancer is another big one. I've worked with a lot of different people with cancer, and you can have two different people that have the same cancer, but the underlying stuff is can be different for each person. So, there will be different traumas and different fears and different emotions and different things. So it's important just to heal all their stuff that all contributed to them getting, whether it's cancer or some other chronic disease. And
Right.
so it's important not to just remove the cancer, which is, we need to do too. We need to heal the physical body, but heal all the stuff that caused it or contributed to it in the first place. So
Right.
that's why I'm saying we heal the whole person. And I've gotten great results with that. I had one long time ago, like early on. Um, I worked with this person's wife, and he's a very well-known veterinarian in my area, and people just loved him, and he got cancer. And it was really bad, very painful. He couldn't even walk. He would just basically sit in his chair. So his wife asked me to go to their house and work on him. And I did. And he was able to get up after that. And then he was able to take his boys fly fishing. And went into remission for like a couple years. And then I didn't do any more work with him. And years later, I heard that he did pass. But the really fascinating thing was, it's like 10, 15 years later, I had moved and I was in a different location. One of his sons showed up at my door. I don't know how he found my address. He said, I just want to say thank you for giving me those 2 years with my dad that I never would have had.
Wow, that's
And it was
beautiful.
just like, oh my God.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So just so many stories of that. Pain is a I shouldn't say fun, but it's like you can see instantaneous healing with that one. So with physical pain, it's exciting. And I think it's helpful for people because even skeptics, like, they had a pain in their body and now the pain's gone. I'm like, okay, well, if that works, maybe all the other stuff will work. And it helps them open up even more to healing all the other stuff, right? So even so non-believers become like, okay, I can't deny what just happened here. And so for example, like I just the other couple of weeks ago, actually at the gym and I go to, I was doing a spin class and somebody had a root canal. And they were just like, oh, it hurts, hurts. Yeah. I'm like, you want me to heal that for you? And they knew I did healing work, but they didn't never experience it. And they're like, okay, so we sat outside on the bench and, I don't usually do things in person anymore. I do everything by Zoom and phone, but because I was there, I just put my hand on it. So I didn't do my normal thing where I help them see what's going on. And she's like, oh my God, I'm watching this red stuff coming out of my mouth. And she's like, this is emotional. All this stuff coming up. I'm not saying a word. And she's like, oh my God, the pain is gone. And that was
That's
like in a
great.
minute.
That's great.
Yeah, so I'm just giving people ideas of what's possible. So like I have a neighbor that knew what I did and he didn't really believe it and kind of make fun of me for it. I'm like, whatever. And so I hadn't seen him in a month and I'm sitting on my balcony. He walks by and I say, hey, how you doing? He's like, not too good. He's like, I've got pain throughout my body. If anything touches my skin, it's excruciating pain. It's like numbness everywhere. These doctors are trying to figure out what's going on. They're doing all kinds of tests, and they don't know what it is. And it's unbearable. And they're taking pain meds, and nothing's working. And I'm like, I can help you. And he's like, I'm desperate. I'll take any help, right? So he comes up on a balcony, and then a couple minutes later, the pain's gone. He's like, oh my God, I don't feel the pain. Like, what? What? This is crazy. Like he was just in shock, right?
That's
And I'm like, but there's stuff underneath it we need to heal too. But let's see how long it lasts, right? And so it lasted for a little bit, and then it came back, and I'm like, okay, so now we just need to heal those blocked emotions that you have stuck in your body, to really make it go away. And so he let me help him with that, and the pain's been gone for 6 months now or something.
that's
So,
great. That's great.
so these are all just ideas. It just doesn't matter what it is, right? I can help people with viruses, unhealthy bacteria. Shingles is like I've had 100% success rate on shingles. It's crazy. Um, Normally it takes a long time to get rid of it, and the next day it's gone.
Right,
Um,
right.
So, fun things like improving athletic performance, right? So there's some like, being an athlete, I understand like what goes into being competing, right? And so it's a
Right.
mindset. It's being in that zone. It's the confidence, it's the belief in yourself. There's so much that goes into it. It's
There's a
not just
lot.
the
Yeah.
physical training, right? And so helping people heal that stuff that's holding them back. And then the results were just tremendous, like night and day, from
Yeah.
before the session and after the session. We can work on balancing people's hormones. So, I've worked on people that had thyroid problems and different problems. And I guess it's so hard to get that in the right balance.
Right balance. Yeah.
Yeah. So menopause problems. I actually healed myself from menopause. I started getting hot flashes years ago. And I'm like, what is this? Like I'm not going to experience this. And I just did a healing myself and it all went away. Like everything stopped. Right. And
That's
so
great.
then I started helping other people with it too. But even just balancing their hormones, that's been very effective for people. So I just kind of
Yeah.
look at it as a whole instead of each individual thing. And I said, okay, using their heart, okay, what percentage of the ideal balance are all your hormones currently at, right? 100% being perfect. And then, it gets like 40, 50, 60% or whatever. And I just bring in the energy. Okay, now what is it? And we
There you
just
go.
bring it up to 100.
What's telomere length? What does
Telomere.
that mean?
So like there's a for every cell of your body you have a tail, and it's called telomere, and that length, when you're younger, is longer, and it gets shorter and shorter as we age, right? And so it's harder to recover, and So what I do is so I ask them, okay, what percentage of the ideal length for youth and vitality is your telomere length currently at, right? And then I do the healing on it, and then we bring it to 100% of its ideal. So it helps with youth and vitality.
That's great.
And helps recovery too, help recovery from
And
injuries. So just things that,
you change a genetic blueprint or life path blueprint?
yeah. So sometimes people will have issues, right? That are in the DNA. So I'll go, and if for people that are visual, I'll have them asked to be shown what their DNA looks like now, highlighting whatever's contributing to that particular issue that we're working on. Um, Maybe some kind of hereditary thing. And then I'll ask them to be shown what that DNA would look like without that issue, right? And then I do a healing on the DNA. And so they get to
Cool.
watch the healing take place. Actually, that's how I do it on the physical body too. So if it's a body part, let's say it's the liver that's damaged, if they're visual, I'll have them look at to be shown what it looks like now and what it would look like in its perfect health and functionality
That's
as a
great.
reference point. And then I do the healing. So they see the healing take place. And it usually takes less than a minute to do the healing there. So I do that with the DNA. And then the life path blueprint is something I've been experimenting with lately and getting some good results. So what happens there is we come into this life predetermined certain issues we're going to have, hopefully to help our soul evolve, right? So let's say you wanted to learn forgiveness, you're going to have people treat you badly so you can learn to forgive them, right? So we create the blueprint of what we want to happen. Maybe we decide we're going to have cancer because that will help us be more compassionate or whatever it is, right? So we
Right.
have reasons. So sometimes it's not as simple as channeling energy to heal that thing because it's there for a reason, right? So what I do is work on what was the lessons that they wanted to learn from this experience. And then I download the lessons and then I do all the healing around that. And then we ask their heart, do you still need this experience in your life? Or have you already gained everything you wanted to gain from it? And
Yeah.
so when we get the human to agree that, yes, we want that change, and the higher self to say, yeah, we don't need it anymore, then I can go in and help them change the blueprint.
That's great.
So,
Hold on.
okay. Okay,
Okay.
so what we're going to do now is do a quick little healing for people so you get to experience it firsthand. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide you into your hearts and expand out your consciousness. So putting you into that meditative state. We're going to open up your intuition. As I described those elements, I described that process where we're going to bring those in and you're just going to surrender them to be transformed. And then we're going to transform those things. So the healing that we're going to do today, you're going to pick either a physical or an emotional pain that you would like to work on. Okay. And so we're going to bring into consciousness all the elements contributing to that pain. And we'll do the healing on that. And then we're going to remove any blocks that you have to receiving healing, removing energies that you're holding on that belong to other people. It might not even be your own pain. And then I'm going to do a healing on the actual pain itself.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to walk you through that. And so whoever wants to participate, go ahead and join us. Okay, so we're just going to have you get into a comfortable position where you can either lie down or sit down, place where you can close your eyes. And then we're just going to ask that you guide yourself into your sacred heart. Your sacred heart is right near your physical heart. You should just feel very safe there. Then imagine your consciousness around you and expand that out, bigger than the universe, so you're connected to all that is. You're still in your heart. We have access to the highest truth, but you're also connected to all that is. And then go up above your head and connect with the divine love and source energy and invite that energy to come back down to the top of your head and into your heart. And go down through your feet, down to the center of the earth and connect with the healing energy of the earth and invite that healing energy to come back up through your feet and into your heart. And see it as a constant flow of the divine love source energy coming from above into your heart and the healing energy coming from the earth into your heart. Allow this combined energy to expand out to fill every fiber of your being. Then allow it to expand out even further to fill your entire consciousness. This is the state that you want to be in when you want to create change instantly. Okay, so we're just going to have you rate the pain that we're working on from 0 to 10 so you can see any improvement. This is just going to be a quick demonstration of healing. Obviously, it takes more time when we go deep down, but some of you will be able to experience it right away. Okay, so just to yourself, just rating the pain from 0 to 10. So you're asking your heart, you're staying in your heart. Don't go in your head in this. Okay, and now we're going to ask your heart. You're doing this silently. You're asking your heart to bring into consciousness all the elements that would prevent you from accepting any healing that's for your highest and best good. So whether it's beliefs or fears or whatever it is, just allowing that to come in and then surrendering it to be transformed. As I channel the energy for each one of you to do the transformation on that. So whatever we do is we heal whatever it is for your highest and best good. And now we're also inviting in all the elements that are contributing to the pain. So all the fears, the traumas, the emotions, um, whatever it is that's contributing to that pain. It could be beliefs, it could be illusions, it could be stories, it could be experiences, anything that's contributing to this pain or preventing it from being healed. So you're inviting that in and just see it as a stream of stuff coming in, and then just immediately surrender it as it comes in so that I can help you transform it. So by you surrendering it, you're giving me permission to transform it in the highest and best way for your highest and best good. Now we're just going to remove any energies in your body or field that don't belong to you. So anything you're holding on to that's not even yours, we're going to actually do the healing on it and transform it and give it back to the rightful owners in that healed and resolved state and remove it from your body and field. So allowing that to happen now. Okay, and I'm going to have you step outside of yourself and become the observer of yourself. See your body and field in front of you as if you're looking at a stranger. So you don't have any preconceived ideas. You're just looking at it. I'm shining the light of truth into your body and field so you can see clearly. We're going to ask that you be shown whatever body part it is that you're working on that you want healed. Maybe there's other parts of the body that are contributing to this pain. So what all the things that are contributing to this particular pain that you're working on. We're going to ask that what it be shown now, what it looks like now. And we're going to ask for another image of what your body would look like if that was completely healed and was no longer an issue as a reference point. Okay, then I'm going to channel the energy coming in through the top of your head, throughout your body and field. And you're holding the intention along with me is that we heal this pain on all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's what you're allowing to happen now. You're witnessing and allowing the healing to take place. And for those that aren't visual, you can feel it or just know it. Doesn't matter. You don't have to see it. Okay. All right, you can open your eyes. I'm just going to integrate the changes and anchor in the healing. Okay, so that was a quick little demo.
I have
Hoping.
chronic back pain, especially if I sit over too long a time.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I went for. I put it at a 2, and it's gone now.
Yay! Awesome.
So it worked. It definitely worked.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you,
so I
sweetie. And
just
I'll
wanted to
put
let you
your,
know about the specials I have. I didn't even talk about what I do, but I mostly do individual healing for people.
okay.
Um, and do it by phone and Zoom. I used to do everything in person, but I got the same results during COVID on phone and Zoom, and it's much easier for people to
And
be
how
able to
far
do
out is your
the
calendar? Are you pretty?
I opened up as much as I could. I added more hours to it so that I know your people will
Yeah,
be able
they
to
they
feel.
like they want their session now.
Yeah, so I offered a 20% discount to your audience
Thank you.
for either a single session or a session of four, which I call life transformation sessions. But that'll be in the text that you're going to put on the Zoom,
Thank
right?
you so
So,
much.
yeah, of course. Thank you. I really
It was
appreciate you
wonderful
inviting
talking to you.
me.
Be sure to let me know how it's going.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.
All
Thank you,
right.
sweetie.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.